Migration has failed to drive economic growth, warns report. You didn't need a report. We all could have told you that. In fact, we have been for a good number of years. But anyway, Robert Gendrick leads call for cap on new arrivals amid drop in GDP per person. I don't want a cap. What's the opposite of a cap? I'm not talking about open the floodgates. I'm talking about, you know, the other one. But anyway, record high levels of immigration have failed to boost the economy while making the housing crisis worse, a leading think tank has warned. Yeah, we could have told you that. See, when you've not got enough houses and you bring in too many people, and housing becomes like an extremely rare and cherished commodity that everyone is trying to get, that drives prices up. Welcome to basic capitalism 101. The more in demand something is and the harder it is to produce, the price of it's going to go right up. That's why, like, loads of people nowadays, they're even if you're making like a really decent wage, you're priced out of owning a house. You're not getting a house. That's just the way it is. And what caused that? Mass immigration. And then everyone's like, landlords, like, why isn't housing cheaper? Oh, it's because of those migrants that you love so much. Because at the end of the day, people need houses. You got a lot of people, you need a lot of houses. And then if you don't have enough houses, then there's loads of people that have to go without houses. Right? This isn't even capitalism 101. This is basic fucking common sense. That's what that is. You're all dumb. In a report co-authored by former Immigration Minister Robert Jenrick, the Centre for Policy Studies, CPS, urged the government to introduce caps on legal immigration to stop a drain on British infrastructure and public services that is not offset by economic growth. Because here's the thing that's funny, and I've said this a million times. When you have a social welfare system that's based on how much money people put into it, the number of people and how much they put in over a period of time factors massively in the projected future costs, right? That's how people calculate stuff. How much of a budget does the NHS need this year? How much of a budget does this school need this year? It's calculated on future costs. One thing that definitely does not get brought into it, because there aren't really any accurate stats, by design, is illegal immigration. Not even just standard immigration, illegal immigration, right? So if that's not factored into the future projected costs, and these same people are using these services, that means that, where did all the money go? It was an absolute mystery. Like that, yeah. This is basic economics. And this is what we've been telling you for a really long time. Farage, in his little milquetoast way, has been telling you, what about your NHS? What about your dentist? Blah, 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 and all that type of stuff. And everybody went, shut up, racist. And look, the chickens came home to roost, didn't they? That's why you're getting like a standard dentist that has a queue down the street that's like 3 blocks long. And everyone, right? It's bad. Things are really bad. We warned you they would get bad. We warned you this is exactly what would happen. But you didn't want to listen because Slava Ukraine, yay, bring them in. I need the likes, I need validation, I need everyone to know what a good person I am on the internet. Fuck the future of my country. I need everybody to know how cool I am. How cool and down with the Browns I am. Like, shut up. In particular, high levels of immigration are significantly exacerbating the housing crisis, it said. We warned you. The report, which was jointly authored by former Health Minister Neil O'Brien, also suggested the Home Office should be broken up to create a new department to control immigration. Another department's going to get co-opted. Well, to be honest, like, the Home Office is already like immediately compromised. That's been compromised for like a while, to the point where, little Afghan Dan, who's like a serial sex offender back in his own country, will get allowed in no problem, and then sexually assault a bunch of people here, and then not get sent back because his home country might not treat him very nice. And because, remember when societies were very, very harsh on sexual offenders? Remember those days? Wonderful times. Right. He won't get sent back because poor little Afghan Dan. However, if you're a right-wing speaker going to speak at a right-wing event, you'll get the fucking headed paper straight from the Home Office saying, fuck off back home. Go back where you came from. Yeah, Home Office is a joke. It came after data published showed British consumers are suffering the longest drop in living standards in the G7 as the economy fails to keep up. Because, like I said many, many times before, you get to have a welfare system or open borders. You cannot have both. But you tried to have both. And because you wanted to feel good and look wonderful and everything, I want to look nice on, like, yeah, I'm a nice little progressive. Well, thanks to you, millions of people's pensions are worth nothing now. Right, if you think it's going to be bad, like, oh, these poor old people, yeah, all those old people are going to freeze to death in their homes in future because you wanted to look cool and nice and progressive. That's what's going to happen. You've condemned probably millions of old people to death because their pensions are going to be worth jack shit by the time they retire. And basically everybody says, oh, but that's why we bring in the migrants. They work and pay the taxes that go towards people's... Yeah, there's going to come a day where those migrants are going to go, wait a minute, we're paying the pensions of old white people? And like I said, those chickens are going to come home to roost as well. Because, you know, fuck white people. Yeah, that's the general consensus. And in the general consensus, that's going to be the opinion of the vast majority of the people on this island. And, yeah, that's going to spell our doom when that comes. Yeah, fuck that. I'm not paying pensions for all white people. I mean, I claim benefits my entire life, but fuck that. I'm not paying taxes for all white people. The Organisation for Economic Cooperation and Development said GDP per person fell for 4 quarters in a row across 2023 in the UK and has been at 0% or less since spring 2022. Although Britain's economy rose by 0.1% across 2023 on a per-person basis, it fell by 0.8%, the OECD said. This measure accounts for population growth, which in the UK was the second highest in the group of 7 advanced economies. It's not whites having the babies. The figures were in stark contrast to the G7 average, where GDP per capita rose by 1.2% last year. If large-scale migration of the sort we've seen is really so great for the economy, we have to ask ourselves, why are we not seeing this in the GDP per capita data, the CPS report warned? Because they're just coming over and signing on benefits. Yeah, there'll be some that are going to work, but a lot of them, like I've pointed out before, the overwhelming majority are all Just Eat and Deliveroo drivers, but all they have to do is get someone who is a UK citizen to set themselves up on the app, and then what they do is they then essentially sublet their orders to people that are here illegally. That's what they do. That's how, basically, like I've said, see in Glasgow, go to Gordon Street, you know the exact part of the street I'm talking about, go and have a look. Go have a look at that part of the street, and that's where they all sit and hang around, right? Aye, they all go running whenever that Border Force van comes rolling past. To alleviate pressure on housing, the NHS and schools, the CPS said net migration should be capped at just tens of thousands a year, down from its peak of 745,000 in 2022. Damn, all of these people added to the economy in a year, and it didn't move. In fact, it's gotten worse. Wow, what could have fucking caused that? I swear to God. See, how come people, right, who have no understanding of the economy whatsoever, not even just like the basic principles of how an economy works, right, are allowed to make decisions that affect the economy. Right, the economy is what literally everyone relies on. Everyone, it doesn't matter who you are, everyone relies on the economy, right? So it's in everyone's best interest for the economy to do well, right? Everyone, doesn't matter who you are, you need the economy to do well. Yet, every single government decision is destroying the economy one step at a time. Start growing your own vegetables. Start getting the equipment to be able to purify and clean your own water. Just go do it. Just go do it. Right? Because basically it's coming. Right? That's all I'll say. It's coming. The end of society as we know it. It's coming. Right? If you're not able to get a rifle or a shotgun license, do what I did and get your wife to apply. Because basically, yeah, it's fine. Only she's allowed to use it, but after everything collapses, the licenses won't matter then, will they? To deliver this, CPS said the Home Office, which had proven itself to be too unwieldy to function effectively and undermined by high levels of churn, should be split into a Department for Border Security and Immigration Control and a second charged with policing and national security. The new department would be headed by a cabinet-level minister. We need working institutions that can translate the will of Parliament and the public into action. The Home Office has fallen short on this front, they said. Absolutely it has. The Home Office doesn't seem to care about home very much, does it? So yeah, I agree with you. It's a completely useless institution that should be shut down. Analysis of Home Office data showed the impact of the shift from EU to non-EU migrants. Migrants from the Middle East, North Africa and Turkey, aged 25 to 64, were almost twice as likely to be economically inactive as someone born in the UK. Spanish migrants typically earned around 40% more than migrants from Pakistan or Bangladesh, which is weird because the Spanish nap all the time, while migrants from countries such as Canada, Singapore and Australia paid between 4 and 9 times as much income tax as migrants from Somalia or Pakistan. Curious that. Rates of economic inactivity, MENA, I have no idea what that means. South Asia, East Asia, curious, rest of Oceania, blah, blah, blah. Latin America, EU. Southeast Asians? Surprising. The report said the impact was particularly acute in housing. Net migration now accounted for around 89% of the 1.3 million increase in England's housing deficit, the amounts of homes we have underbuilt by in the last 10 years. Unforeseen levels of immigration have also blown house building targets out of the water. The government's target of building 300,000 homes per year includes an expectation of net migration to England of around 170,000 per year, which alone will generate demand for 72,000 new homes. We have been underbuilding for years, even with high levels of... Curious that they've been underbuilding with all the taxes that we keep having to pay them for absolutely everything. Where's all the money going? Fucking don't worry about it. Even without high levels of net migration, and even if we limit ourselves to just the last 10 years, the picture is bleak, the CPS report warned. Pressure had also been added to rental markets as well as affecting home ownership. For example, 67% of privately rented households in London are headed by someone born overseas, as were 33% of new social housing lets in Brent in 2022 to 2023. Oh, by the way, I think, don't quote me on this, but basically it's either almost exactly half or just over half of all the property in London is owned by foreign people. Mostly people from Saudi Arabia or China, funnily enough. Last year, Capital Economics estimated that the levels of immigration in 2022 alone may have driven up rents by nearly 10% because, exactly, see, whenever something is scarce and rather hard to produce, but it is in very, very high demand, the price goes up. That's just the way it is. That's just, even if there was no government regulation at all, that's what would happen. Even if you had mad government regulation, that's what would happen, right? Because people have to see some type of profit for what they put in, right? People have to see some type of profit from their labour. Immigration is heavily concentrated in cities, and particularly in the rental sector. Previous ONS analysis found around 80% of people arriving in the UK rent privately for at least the first few years after they migrate. And what a lot of them like to do is say, oh yeah, it's just me and my girlfriend moving into this house. And then they move about 6 of them in, and in each room, even the kitchen, has a fucking bed in it. We just spotted that in one of ours. Immediately served papers out. Go on, claim squatters' rights, I dare you. Try do that in Scotland, see how that works out for you. Mr Jenrick and Mr O'Brien blamed the post-Brexit Tory government for liberalising the immigration system, like we say many times before. The Conservatives aren't conserving much, are they? They should just change their name at this point. Immigration system and breaking its promises to take control of Britain's borders after leaving the EU. You know, it's like that joke I like to make. Rule Britannia. Britannia rules the waves, except the ones in the channel. Despite the rhetoric of a highly selective system, the post-2021 system continues to allow large numbers of people to come who are either not working or working in very low-wage jobs. Out of net migration of 2 million non-EU nationals over the last 5 years, only 15% came principally to work. Now, you would think if I was moving to a new country, the first thing I would well, it wouldn't be the first thing I would do, but when I got there, I would have it lined up before I came. I would have a job lined up before I came, because I don't want to arrive there and go, oh, fuck. Right, that's the first thing you do. So that means the 85% are coming not with work in mind. They're coming here with the benefits in mind. Many economists argue that high levels of immigration boost the UK economy by increasing the workforce and tax revenues. However, they're not coming over here to work. The overwhelming vast majority of them are coming over here and immediately signing up on benefits and not even trying to look for a job. And then they're like, oh, but you can't send me back home because otherwise I'll get fucking XYZ done to me because my country's a fucking shithole because of people like me. Right, that's why. Right, so they're coming over here and they're not working. But although levels of immigration have been extremely high, productivity growth and economic growth per person have slumped, just as pressure on public resources has soared. Despite a 6.6% increase in the UK's population between 2011 and 2021, the number of GP surgeries increased by just 4% during that time. The UK's capacity to generate electricity fell by 14.2% because we started shutting down nuclear power plants and opting for the wind farms, which are fucking shit and they're only good when it's windy. Now we also have the solar farms, which is only good when it's fucking sunny, and this is Britain. right? Where it's not fucking sunny. It's sunny for about fucking 3 weeks of the year. 1 week if it's Scotland. We're having our hot week now. This is our summer right now. See, by the end of the week, it's going to be rain. That's just the way it works. Right? Now, another thing that will fuck up the economy, and Hans Herman Hoppe talks about this a lot in Democracy, the God That Failed, is low time preference and high time preference. Now, low time preference is someone where if you've got money to invest, right, if you've got money to invest, you'll stick it somewhere, or you'll probably put it into some sort of bond or something like that, or maybe invest it in a company, and I don't care if that pays off for 6 years, I'm not in any dire need right now, you're a low time preference person, right? You're basically immediate results from your investment is not something you're really looking for right now. It'll pay off when it pays off. Right, that's fine. High time preference people, they don't really fucking invest. They either want something immediately right now. They would rather, instead of putting it into Citibank and getting a nice little dividend every 3 months, they would rather go down to the fucking Riverside Casino and put all of it on red. Or they're going to go out and buy a bunch of ching and a bunch of fucking money, a bunch of fucking booze and all that type of stuff because they want immediate gratification right now at this moment. Right? That's a high time preference individual. They want their gratification right now. Now, the worse the economy gets, the more high time preference everybody becomes, which means they want immediate gratification. Why the fuck would I invest money in this economy? The economy's going to shit, which causes a fucking snowballing effect where nobody's investing in the economy and the economy fucking crashes. That's a little bit more advanced economics. However, still, read Democracy, the God That Failed. Carol Williams of the CPS said, traditionally, the Treasury and much of the rest of the government have modelled immigration as an unqualified benefit to the public purse, but this is not the case. It was never about that. That was just a dumb argument that people made up as an excuse to bring them all into the country. It's actually good. It wasn't. Like, people have always known that. People have known that, like, since the beginning, that it's not good. If you bring a bunch of people into a social welfare country and none of them have any desire to work whatsoever, like, a fucking 6-year-old could tell you that's a fucking bad idea. Oh, social welfare, which is built on everybody paying taxes? Who's paying taxes? Fucking no one, because nobody's fucking working. Right? It's stupid. This would be allied to... The report recommended abolishing the graduate route, which allows foreign students to stay for 2 years after getting their degrees. Instead, they could only remain if they had a graduate-level job within 6 months. This would be allied to scrapping the 600,000 a year target for the number of foreign students allowed into the UK, which was set by Boris Johnson. They recommended raising the salary thresholds for health and care workers above the national living wage and minimum hourly wage in the care sector by 20p to 40p to help recruit more domestic workers. They also called for an immediate cap on the health and care visas set at 30,000, down from the current 250,000 in 2023. Mr Jenrick said it would be unforgivable if the government did not use the time before the general election to undo the disastrous post-Brexit liberalisations that betrayed the express wishes of the British public for lower immigration. The changes we propose today would finally return numbers to the historic norm and deliver the highly selective, highly skilled immigration system voters were promised. These policies would be implemented immediately and would consign low-skilled mass immigration to the past. Immigration is consistently one of the top concerns of voters, and they deserve a department whose sole mission is controlling immigration and securing our borders. For far too long, the Home Office has proven incapable of doing that. It's not that it's proven incapable, it's that it does not care. It doesn't give a shit. It absolutely does not give a shit. Basically, the way it should work is this. If you're a high-rate taxpayer, you get to stay. See if you're over here and you're on benefits and within 6 months you've not got a job, tatty bye. Tatty bye. Or just pull the benefits and go, you can rot out in the fucking street. That's it. Basically, there are some... I came here for a better life. You came here to take fucking liberties, is what you did. Well, we're all paying your taxes. We're all paying our taxes. We're all working. We're all contributing to the country, and you're coming here and contributing fuck all, which is why your original country became such a shithole in the first place. Because you don't give a fuck about where you live. Clearly you didn't. You just fucked off and left your wife and children behind to come over here and get benefits. And then whenever you move near a school, all of the 13, 14-year-old girls there mysteriously start getting approached by all these random men on Facebook and all that type of stuff. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just going to drop this before I start Fed posting.